Sheyi, now a shadow of his former self, stepped forward. "We know someone in this village is responsible," he shouted, his voice filled with anger and fear. "We must find them and make them reverse this course." Adebimpe, standing at the edge of the crowd, stepped forward. And what if the person responsible has no intention of reversing it? The crowd turned to her in shock. Sheyi's eyes widened in realization. Once upon a time, in the small village of Igbara-Oke, nestled among the rolling hills of Ondo State, lived a young woman named Adebimpe, with her ebony skin and eyes as dark as midnight. She was known for her beauty and gentle spirit. Despite her charm, she led a simple life, helping her mother, Mama Adebimpe, with their modest farm and selling their produce at the local market. One evening, as Adebimpe returned home from the market, a group of young men from the village accosted her. Led by the arrogant Sheyi, they had been drinking and were in a vile mood. Sheyi, who had always been infatuated with Adebimpe, saw this as an opportunity to assert his dominance. "Where do you think you are going, Adebimpe?" Sheyi slurred, blocking her path. "Please let me pass," Adebimpe replied, trying to keep her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart. But Sheyi and his friends had other plans. They dragged her into a secluded area, ignoring her screams and pleas. The night was filled with horror as they violated her, leaving her broken and bruised. The once serene village of Igbara-Oke now held a dark secret. Adebimpe's spirit was shattered, but within her a fire of vengeance began to burn. As she lay on her mat, staring at the thatched roof, she remembered the story her grandmother used to tell her about the ancient gods and the powerful magic that once protected their people. She decided to seek the help of Yaosha, the village's wise old woman rumored to possess mystical powers. Adebimpe's mother, Mama Adebimpe, though heartbroken and worried, understood her daughter's resolve and accompanied her to Yaosha's hut. The hut was filled with the scent of herbs and the flicker of candlelight. Yaosha, with her wrinkled skin and wise eyes, listened intently as Adebimpe recounted her ordeal. "I want justice, Yaosha. I want them to pay for what they did to me," Adebimpe declared, her voice shaking with anger and sorrow. Yaosha nodded slowly. "Justice is not always served by human hands, my child, but the gods are watching. Are you prepared to call upon them for vengeance?" Adebimpe nodded, her resolve firm. Yaosha instructed her to return at midnight, alone, to begin the ritual that would invoke the ancient powers. At the stroke of midnight, Adebimpe returned to Yaosha's hut. The old woman had prepared a circle of sacred symbols on the ground, surrounded by flickering candles. In the center, a small wooden idol of Eshu, the trickster god, stood. "Step into the circle," Yaosha instructed, "and remember, once things begin, there is no turning back." Adebimpe stepped into the circle, her heart pounding. Yaosha began to chant in a language that was ancient and powerful. The air grew thick with energy, and Adebimpe felt a strange force course through her body. She closed her eyes, surrendering to the power of the gods. The ritual lasted until dawn. As the first light of day broke through the hut, Yaosha handed Adebimpe a small vial of dark liquid. "This is the essence of Eshu's power," she explained. "With it, you can strip them of their manhood, but be warned, the path of vengeance is fraught with peril." Adebimpe took the vial, feeling its weight in her hand. "I understand, Yaosha. Thank you." Adebimpe returned to her daily life, but now she carried the vial with her at all times. She waited patiently, biding her time until she could exact her revenge. Sheyi and his friends continued their lives, unaware of the storm that was about to befall them. One evening, Adebimpe saw Sheyi alone by the river, washing his clothes. She approached him, her heart pounding but her resolve unwavering. "Sheyi," she called out, her voice cold and steady. He turned, surprised to see her. "Adebimpe, what are you doing here?" Without a word, Adebimpe uncorked the vial and flung the liquid at Sheyi. It hit him square in the face and he stumbled back, screaming in agony as the magic took hold. Within moments, Seyi fell to the ground, clutching himself and writhing in pain. When he finally looked up at Adebimpe, his eyes were filled with terror. "What have you done to me?" he cried. Adebimpe stared down at him, her expression unmoved. "This is just the beginning, Seyi. For what you and your friends did to me, you will all pay." Word of Seyi's sudden and inexplicable impotence spread through the village like wildfire. The men were frightened and confused, and the women whispered among themselves, speculating on what could have caused such a strange affliction. Adebimpe watched as fear and paranoia began to grip the village. She knew that her revenge had only just begun. One by one, she sought out the other men who had violated her that night. Each time, she used the dark liquid to strip them of their manhood, leaving them broken and humiliated. The village elders called a meeting to address the growing panic. Chief Adedeji, an old and wise leader, stood before the gathered villagers. "We must find the source of this cause," he declared. "This affliction is not natural. Someone or something is behind it." The villagers murmured in agreement, but Adebimpe remained silent, watching as the seeds of her vengeance continued to grow. As days turned into weeks, the village men became increasingly desperate. They sought the help of traditional healers and even consulted with Iyaosha, but no remedy could restore their manhood. One evening, as the sun set over Igbara-Oke, the remaining men gathered at the village square. Seyi, now a shadow of his former self, stepped forward. "We know someone in this village is responsible," he shouted, his voice filled with anger and fear. "We must find them and make them reverse this course." Adebimpe, standing at the edge of the crowd, stepped forward. "And what if the person responsible has no intention of reversing it?" The crowd turned to her in shock. Seyi's eyes widened in realization. "It was you," he whispered. "You did this to us." Adebimpe nodded, her expression cold and unyielding. "Yes, I did. For what you did to me that night, you deserve to suffer." The crowd gasped as Chief Adedeji stepped forward. "Adebimpe, is this true? Did you cause the men of this village?" "I did," Adebimpe replied, her voice steady. "I sought justice where none was given. I called upon the powers of the gods to punish those who wronged me." The village was in turmoil. The men, now permanently impotent, were consumed with anger and shame. The women, though shocked by Adebimpe's actions, began to see her as a symbol of strength and defiance. Chief Adedeji called another meeting to address the situation. "Adebimpe, what you have done cannot be undone. The gods have granted you their power, and it is not for us to question their judgment." Adebimpe stood before the gathered villagers, her head held high. "I did what I had to do to find peace. I will accept whatever punishment you deem necessary." The villagers debated for hours, but in the end, they could not bring themselves to punish Adebimpe. They knew that the men had committed a grave injustice, and that Adebimpe had sought justice in the only way she knew how. In the months that followed, life in Igbara-Oke began to change. The men, humbled by their experience, started to treat the women of the village with newfound respect. The women, inspired by Adebimpe's bravery, began to assert their own strength and independence. Adebimpe, though forever marked by her experience, found a new sense of purpose. She became a healer, using her knowledge of herbs and traditional medicine to help the people of the village. She also began to teach the women of Igbara-Oke about their own power and the importance of standing up for themselves. Though the scars of that tragic night would never fully heal, Adebimpe found solace in knowing that she had taken control of her own destiny, and that the men who had wronged her would never harm another woman again. As the years passed, the story of Adebimpe became a legend in Igbara-Oke, a tale of strength, justice, and the unbreakable spirit of a young woman who refused to be a victim. Thank you so much for watching. If you love our story, please hit on the like button and consider subscribing and turn on the post notification bell so you can get notified anytime we drop a new video. Thank you so much. Remain blessed until I see you in my next video. Bye.